I just look at you with the camera.
You don't want to look at me, man.
Well, no, not especially.
Okay. Rick Dollar with NetRadioDogs.com, and we are live on location at the Song of the Mountains taping for November 2017. And this guy just happened to walk in the door, and that's probably a lie. So
Well,
Jeff Little's here, so usually you're going to find Wayne Henderson around somewhere.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't related, are you?
No, we're not really related, but he's, I've been around him long enough to could have been.
Probably should have been.
I've been playing with him since he was about 12.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
He's a pretty amazing musician.
Well, and you know, coming from some guy like you, wow.
Well, he's something else. His dad had a music store in Boone, North Carolina.
No kidding.
And I'd go over there. That was the closest I could go to a real music store. You know, he actually had a Martin or two out in the front, and probably couldn't touch them, but you could.
But they were there.
You could sit there and lust after them. And
Exactly.
Stuff like that, and that kind of thing.
That's saying a lot with a guy holding that guitar in his hand. Let me tell you.
Yeah, this is the one I just brand spanking new. I just strung it out last night.
It's just amazing.
It's made out of locusts.
Wow.
And I've made, this is number 707, and I've never made one out of, all we ever used locusts for was fence posts.
Yeah, how did that work out? I mean, was it easier to do it with that?
Yeah, it worked just fine.
Yeah.
And the fella that I made it for, his dad is actually supposed to get the guitar, but he's in his 90s.
Wow.
And he's a sawmiller, and he sawed this wood, this board. They brought me
Does
the
he
board.
know that he was sawing it for that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness.
And
Boy, what a surprise he's going to get.
yeah, and he's it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
will.
And I put him a sawmill blade on the end of it up here.
Oh man.
And so.
You always put your touch on things.
Well,
like
yeah,
that, you know?
that's the fun part of doing it. You know,
That's
you
right.
make a lot of them that are run of the mill and same, but almost
Yeah,
every
you don't
one
want
of them.
that. I don't think any Henderson's ever going to be called run of the mill.
No, maybe not. They have a little something. But this one's very unusual to be made out of.
Yeah, it's beautiful when you open the case up. I was like, wow, look at that.
And the top is made out of, tone wood, like Carpathian spruce.
Right.
So most of it grows in Romania. And
Good Lord.
even something like the pick guard, that's made out of, that's poured out of epoxy. I make those things out of this epoxy stuff. You pour out on a little square, and you mix the color in, and then you
Look,
mix.
he's telling secrets here.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
that's a cool one. Because
Yeah. That's
something.
amazing how you do that. I'm just.
It's always hard to get the kind of plastic that looks like the old 1930s
Yeah,
and 40s stuff that they used. And so we figured out a way to make it. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Well, my thing with you, Wayne, is how you are such a big part, not just of Smith County and this area and Rugby, Virginia, and everywhere that you've, hung your hat. I mean, I talk to guys like Presley Barker, younger musicians coming up, and they're all, if they've had a meeting with you or anything to do with you, they'll have just a different outlook on what bluegrass is going to be doing here in the next few years. Than say a guy that's just wanted to pick a guitar up and play it.
Yeah, well.
And I appreciate you doing that. It's making my life better.
Well, cool. I always like to help young folks all I can, any way I can and everything. That's a big deal to me.
It is.
Because I remember when I was young folks, there wasn't too many people around to help you learn to play. You had to go watch the older ones and learn anything you could, but they wasn't going to sit down and give a kid a lesson or something. But I don't know, they just didn't do it. I guess there might have been some that did, but I didn't know them. And it was always
Well, who taught you?
Well,
that's what I want to know.
I learned a lot of my stuff from neighbors and friends around and by listening to records a lot.
There you go.
That's one reason. That record player didn't mind you asking it to do it.
That's right. It was fairly easy to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, and my mom.
Who did you listen to when you were younger?
Well, I listened to one of the first good guitar players I listened to was a fellow named E.C. Ball, who lived in my neighborhood, and he influenced me to use a thumb pick and play like I do. And he was a great thumb picker player, and he wrote gospel music and was one of my favorite guitar players, still is.
Amazing.
And then Doc Watson lived close by, you know, but I didn't see him when I was young. You know, he lived in Deep Gap, which is 35 minutes away from my house, but it just been like traveling to New York for me.
Yeah, I understand that.
But Mr. Ball, I played with him, and I had cousins that played, and my dad was an old-time fiddler, so
there you go.
I could, you know, hear all those tunes, you know, and
Lord.
I'd go out in the woodshed and try to figure out
Try to do exactly what they do.
Yeah, try to play like a fiddler was doing it, and Mr. Ball had done told me I had the thumb pick, so those fiddle tunes need to be sort of flat picked.
Exactly.
You know? So I had to devise a way to pick up with my finger and down with my thumb, so it works. It makes an unusual style of
This
play.
is a Wayne Henderson guitar lesson, by the way. You can buy the rest of this interview for $29.95.
Yeah.
I'm sure Wayne won't mind if I split the money with him.
No. Anyway, that's
Pick us a little something there, buddy. Incredible. Wayne, thank you, brother, for sitting down with me. It's good to see you again.
Thank you
We'll be seeing you down in Kingsport next year. We're going to have you down there a few times. So
that'd be great.
come down and see us sometime.
We will. When you come up, if you get far,
I need to come up there and see you.
Yeah, if you get far enough back in the sticks,
I might stay. You never know.
Yeah, well.
And then again, you might run me off in a week.
You look like you eat right, man. So,
Oh my God!
that'd be.
That's
you wouldn't make it around.
First
that
time you've
long.
ever got me on camera. That's pretty good. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to come to Marion, Virginia when the Song of the Mountains taping is here. You get to see fine guys like Mr. Wayne Henderson. 140 million potential viewers, Wayne. Does that make you nervous?
Well, it didn't until you told me about that. You know?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, at least you know what you're up against.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wayne Henderson. My name is Rick Dollar, and this has been Song of the Mountains tapings 2017 in November. Come see us.